Yeah.
So a couple things that you have said are leading me straight to the fourth critical choice. So you
Mm-hmm.
talked about your sense of belonging, and then you've also talked about creating community amongst
Yeah.
teams and team members and the community you're creating within Live Big. So the fourth critical choice I made was to create community and belonging. I think I was in my 30s. We have talked about this. And I looked around and I was friendly with everyone, but I was friends with no one. I still didn't feel like I belonged. And I think we, especially girls, sometimes hold on to that feeling of not belonging.
Mm-hmm.
So I know, because you just shared with us, that there have been times where you didn't feel like you belonged. How does it feel to not belong? And then if you want to share specifically one of those times, please do. But how does it feel
Yeah.
not to belong?
Yeah. It doesn't feel safe. We're social creatures. We're meant to be in a community. That's what safety is for us, I think, in so many ways. And if you feel like you don't belong, you can't just be. You cannot put your guard down. You are on high alert. You are not able to exist without your defenses up because you're constantly scanning, okay, how do I fit in here? What do I say to this group? What am I doing or not doing that I should be? You're constantly trying to analyze, how do I fit myself into this puzzle? How can I be the right puzzle piece? And if that's your mindset, or if that's what's going through your mind and your body, because there's a real physiological response, like we've probably all felt nervous walking up to people for the first time. Maybe your hands are a little bit jittery and you have to hold a drink to go and introduce yourself, or whatever it might be. We feel it in our bodies too. That's what not belonging is. And that's really sad, because as a human being, if you can't be at rest because you feel accepted, you can't learn, you can't explore, you can't be curious. And I think we have so many people in our world today who are desperate for a sense of belonging because they feel like they don't have it. They are on high alert and they're operating from that place of fear. And I think that's sad. Like, that's the saddest thing in the world. And I think it's the cause of so many of our challenges in society today.
Totally agree. And there's something that you said even earlier on when you were reflecting on your growing up in high school and having all the things that you might need and want as a child, yet you still experienced this feeling of not belonging during that time. And so I think it's important that everybody recognize what you just said, which is anyone and everyone has felt like that they have not belonged. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what they have and what they don't have. Some have experienced that in a much greater magnitude than others, but
Yeah.
sometimes I try to think about what can we do? What can we do to help the other person feel a sense of belonging, in just our interactions or whatever that might be. How does it feel to belong?
I mean, the literal opposite of what I said, I suppose, which it feels safe. It feels safe at like a deep core physiological level. You can just be. You can experience love in that place. I was very lucky to hear Dr. Bernice King at a conference recently in Atlanta, and she was speaking to a room full of counselors and like 5,000 counselors, talking about the importance of the children that we serve knowing that we love them, because that might be the only place that they get to experience love, and to literally be able to say to those kids, I love you. And noticing how few people actually use those words, I love you. And that could transform a kid's life, to be able to feel like they belong somewhere, that they are accepted wholeheartedly for who they are. And why I think that's so important with kids is we have so many labels for behavior today. And I'm sure you experienced this growing up. You are the naughty child. You are the quiet child. You don't participate in class. You know, we have how many kids in the juvenile system? They are not bad kids. They have had things happen to them in their lives. They have adopted these behaviors that once helped them to survive. It's now no longer serving them. But how are those kids going to feel a sense of belonging if they don't feel like they can be loved by anyone? And so the need for all of us in society, but I think especially if we reach children, is to have every single kid that we touch know that we see them, that we value them, that they are safe with us, no matter what their behavior is. And like, I've been challenged in so many different ways in these workshops, but I always try and come from a place of, you're accepted here, you belong here, I see you, like, it's okay. Yeah. So I think about all of the kids who feel like they don't belong and what it means for their future to have that really felt sense of not belonging at such a young age. And the opportunity that we all have as adults, as educators, as people in their lives, to give them that, even if it's brief, that moment of, you belong in this classroom, or you belong in this workshop today. You are meant to be here, and I'm so glad that you are here.
Thank you for joining me for our Choose and Become interview series. You could find this episode and others at trishkendall.com. Just go to trishkendall.com/choose-become-interview-series. Or if you have a question or just want to leave a comment, email me, trish@trishkendall.com.